Hi everyone, welcome back. In this lecture, let us see how to retrieve the data from a database. Well, we can use select statement to retrieve the data from a database, and select statement is one of the commonly used command in a SQL that allows you to query and fetch the data from a table. Well, in this lecture, let us see how to use different variant of select statement, like how to retrieve the data from all the columns, how to retrieve the data for specific columns, how to give the alias to the columns in a select statement, how to give alias to the tables in a select statements. We'll see all those stuff in this lecture. Okay, so here in previous lecture we have seen how to insert a data into a table and how to use insert into select statement to insert a data from one table into another table. And now let us see how to use select statement to retrieve the data from a database. So here let us first of all see the tables in a database. For that, just type the command show tables. So there are two tables in the company database, employees and employees underscore backup. Next, let us say we want to retrieve the data from employees table. For that, we can use select statement over here. For example, just type select. So select is the keyword, so I am going to give the capital letters for this select keyword, and then star, and then from, and then followed by the table name from which we are going to retrieve the data, that is employees. Next, hit enter, and there we go, you can see the output. Okay, so this is how we can use select statement to retrieve the data from a employees table. And if you look at the star over here, so this star is basically a wildcard character, and star has a special meaning. So here star means it retrieves all columns data. Okay, so whenever you want to retrieve all columns data from a table, then you can use select star. Next, let us say you want to retrieve the data from a specific columns in a table. Then you can specify the column names in the select statement. For example, let us say you want to retrieve the first name and email from the employees table. Then just type select and then specify the column names, first underscore name comma email from employees. So this is how you can fetch or retrieve the data for a specific columns from a table. Next, hit enter, and here you can see the output. The result set has a data for only two columns, first name and email. So this is how we can use select statement to retrieve the data for a specific columns in the table. Next, let us see how to use column alias. The column alias are used to rename a column in the result set. This can make the output more readable. Well, if you can look at the column names in the result set. So this is basically a result set, and the column name like post name and email. So we can use a column alias to give a temporary name to the columns in the result set. For example, let us say we want column name as an email address in the result set. Then what we can do is we can use column alias. Well, in real-time project, a table can have hundreds of columns, and the column names can be shorter. And in order to see the meaningful name for all these shorter columns in the result set, we can provide the alias. For example, in order to give the alias, we use as keyword. Here just type the command select first underscore name, and in order to give alias name to this first name column, use as keyword. And let us say we want to give the meaningful name, let us say first name like this, and then last underscore name. In order to give alias name to last name column, just use as keyword and then followed by last name, and then for email as email address, and hit enter. So here we have missed to add the from clause. So just press the arrow and here select first name, last name, email from employees table, hit enter, and if you can see the column names in the result set, first name, last name, email address. Now these columns looks good. Okay, so in order to give the meaningful name to the columns in the result set, we typically use the alias like this by using as keyword and then followed by the column name. that we can see in the result set. Alright, so this is how we use column alias. Next, let us see how to use table alias. Well, the table alias are used to give a table a temporary name. So it is similar to column alias. But the table alias are commonly used in a joins. So whenever you want to join multiple tables using joins, then you use a table alias. So in order to see how the table alias looks, just create example. So just type select and then E. So assume E is alias for employees table, okay, and then E dot first underscore name. So if we use a table alias, then basically we give the name like this. E is alias for table and then dot post name. So this post name column belongs to employees table. Next, E dot last underscore name and then E dot email. So here basically we use alias as a prefix for the column, because whenever we use joins to join the multiple tables, then we need to distinguish the column from different tables, right? For that we basically use the alias as a prefix for the columns. Okay, so whenever you want to retrieve the data from different columns from different tables, then we have to distinguish the columns from different tables, right? For that we basically prefix the column with the alias name like this. Next, from employees and then alias E. So we use as keyword to specify the alias, and here the alias name is E. Okay, next hit enter and here you can see the output. Okay, so basically the table alias are obtained used in joins. We will see how to use table alias again once we encounter into joins. Okay, great. I will see you in the next lecture.